they couldn't do it. And you know what? This is an amazing team. We have so much leadership here. I appreciate all of you. Even from Europe flew in. We have people from Mexico here. We have people, obviously, all my American families here. You have no idea what it means when you show up. Because the first thing is participation, right? You got to commit. You got to make a decision. Say, I'm in it to win it, and the team's getting together, and we're gonna go. So this is the first corporate event we've done in Mississauga in a while. No, but it tells me we have to do this regularly. Who's up to doing this once a month? I'm gonna have to talk to the Red Rose guys. I'm gonna have to talk to the Red Rose guys. Yeah, I'm so proud of you all. You have no idea. Because you have to understand that when I started this, there was no convention center, there was no banquet hall full of 500 people. It was this guy alone at my desk, in my office in the basement, just reading, writing, drawing, trying to make sense of all this neurology stuff. If I had known then what I know now, I asked myself, would I have done anything differently? And the answer is no. Because it's the effort that makes the reward worthwhile. Does that make sense? Right? If something comes too easy, it's easy to give up. Right? But if you work something and you work hard and long and you get to where you need to get to and where you want to get to, never quit. Right? You never quit. And that's a lesson that I've tried to impart to my children, to the team, and everybody listens. Like, if you believe something and you want something, make that decision and then commit. Because the only person you're going to commit to is yourself. Right? That's the only person that actually matters. In this thing, the only person you have to convince is who? Yourself. Make a decision, make your commitment, and we go. And today we're going to talk about the commitment that we've made, the commitment we're actually making to the rest of the world. Because we're making some big commitments, right? So let's talk about that. So welcome to Super Saturday with Super Patch. Give yourself all a round of applause. It's absolutely beautiful here. So I don't know if you guys figured this out yet, but everything we do is planned and designed. I am a recovering engineer. It's not going well. Meaning, it's got to be planned. You got to have a blueprint. You got to design the blueprint. You got to test it. You got to build redundant. So everything we do is designed. Our success is designed. It is not by mistake or by luck or by fortune we are where we are in the success that we've had. It's been designed. But what's anchoring it, the underneath foundation of it, is based on commitment. It's based on this mission that we're going to build a drug-free world. I believe in my core of my being that the entire world, every single one of us and our families and the entire world deserves drug-free solutions, period. And those solutions have to be safe, they have to be tested, they have to be proven, and they have to be affordable. Right? They have to be affordable. If they're not accessible, then we're not going to be able to help all the people we want to help. Right? I read somewhere that, one of the greatest athletes of all time, LeBron James, he spends over $1 million on his health and wellness every year. $1 million on his health and wellness. I'm sure there's things that are not accessible to the rest of us. Right? But it gives me insight into what it is. That in today's world, to have the best health and wellness, you also got to have wealth, right? It goes hand in hand in today's world. So we can't separate the two, right? Listen, my wife's a smart lady. She tells me, Jay, the best beauty care is money. The more money you have, the prettier you look. Well, that's what she tells me. She goes, you think it's your looks? There's a 31-year-old joke there that I'll tell you some other time. But we can't extricate our wellness, our family's wellness, without an economic conversation. I'm just telling you, this is the world we live in. So don't let anybody pull you one way or the other. Say, well, you know, it's just because that passion is so important. But without an economic model, it's not sustainable. Understand that? Okay, great. But to start it, this started off as a passion project to help my mom. Many of you know the story. I'm sure all of you know the story. My mom got diagnosed with MS in 1983. I was 13 years old. She had a horrible case. She went from diagnosis. She'd had symptoms before 83, but she went from that diagnosis to wheelchair in 18 months. That's terrible, right? And mom, like to this day, if you met my mom, if you like, I tried to get her to come, and she'd never come out. She's too shy. But she was Wonder Woman. Like tough, smart, disciplinarian. Anybody have that mom? I think we all had that mom, right? Could you imagine talking back to our moms back in the day? No chance. So she worked at the Levi's factory, right? She was a seamstress, homemaker, mom, wife, like you name it, mom did everything. And then she started getting sick. And, you know, I saw this amazing human being not being able to take things we take for granted, being able to do. Wash her own face, brush her teeth, feed herself, wash herself, clean herself. And it does something to you. It's one thing to see somebody over there. But when it's there, it does something to you. And what it did to me, at a very early age, realized that the most valuable, most powerful emotion in the world is compassion. Compassion is the mother of mercy. Compassion is the mother of love. Compassion is the mother of righteousness. If we cannot have compassion in our lives, where we care about anything or anyone other than ourselves, life's going to be pretty hollow. We might not realize it in the day-to-day things that we do and the things that we go through, and life's so busy and we got our own lives and doing it. This is why this whole mission, this business is so important to me, because I know so many people come and go in this lifetime without actually making a positive impact on a stranger's life, on somebody they didn't know. But every single one of you have crossed that chasm. Every single one of you has made a positive impact, not on your own life, but people perhaps you didn't even know before, whose life has changed. When you guys come up to me and tell me your life has changed, or the life of a loved one has changed, you have no idea what that value is to me. Because it tells me that everything that had to be done and was done, and the investment, the time, the energy, the struggle, the challenge, it was all worth it. It was all worth it. And I think every single one of you is the same way. Given the opportunity, if you had the opportunity to have something in your hand that you knew could change the world for the better, would you ever quit? No, I don't think anybody here would quit. Because when you realize that what we have is like light. This light says drug-free. Want some? And why is that important? It's important because there was, and I'm not saying all drugs are bad. There's some life-saving drugs out there that you absolutely, I've taken them, and when I get an infection, I had a cellulitis in my leg about 3 years ago. I needed that IV drip real bad, otherwise you lose your leg, right? But I'm talking about the day-to-day things that we deal with. So I've invested time, energy to help decode the human neurocode. It's been complex. It's been a lot of work. It's been unbelievably rewarding. And the reward is the thank you give me, the hugs you give me, and you tell me your stories. That's the reward. Because that reaffirms that what I'm, like, personally, what I'm doing is worth it. Right? Because the economics of this are going to take care of this. The more people we help, the more economics that come out of it. That's a given. That's just a transactional thing. But how do I put the price tag? How do any of us put a price tag on a life that's changed? On somebody whose trajectory for the remainder of their days is different, better, enhanced, right? So that's what I'm doing, right? That's the purpose of my life, today and forever, right? And it's not going to change. And this purpose is powered by the tech. It's powered by the people, which is all of us. Every single one of us plays a role in this. And to support it and to grow it, we've built a business like never before. You need all three things. You need the people, you need the purpose, and you need an economic model to scale it, right? Otherwise, it falls apart, right? That leg, that stool needs 3 legs, right? You need people, you need purpose, and you need profit. Otherwise, it teeters. Anybody ever sit on a 2-legged stool? You tried? Nick tried. How'd it work out? Not good. Not good, right? And so for me, this is generational. For me, this is about building something that far outlives what I'm doing. This goes to that commitment thing. Because the change we want to bring to the world isn't going to happen overnight. We agree? So we got to understand that this is not a short-term thing. This is not a tomorrow exit. This is not a next week victory. The victory happens every day when we bring the product to people and they win. The victory happens every day when we bring the opportunity to people and they have a new economic stream for themselves. They're winning, right? We got to deliver both. And this is the perfect combination of purpose, people, and profit. Right? So who's ready to understand why this business called Super Patch is limitless? It's limitless. It's limitless for a lot of reasons, right? It's limitless because the sheer number of people involved in the real economic opportunity. So we have 13 amazing products, right? Globally, $4.7 trillion is being spent on the solutions that we can help people with today. Forget about the solutions we're going to come up with next year and the year after that and the year after that and the year after that. Just today. How many people is that? That's about 6 billion people. There's about 8 to 8.5 billion people in the world, they say. I don't know, I didn't count them. But we can touch safely with a real solution. We have something that can help 6 billion people. That's almost every family in the world. What that does is it gives us an amazing, amazing platform where we can individually and collectively as a team work toward. And the technology we've built is protected globally. So what does that mean? That means not only did we develop this amazing technology, these products, we've made it so no one else can copy them. So somebody can't make a Smarty Patch. Right? And we've protected it in a very, very unique and powerful way. And so I'm going to share this with you because I think you know, because a lot of people ask. So the most powerful form of protecting any intellectual property are things that we've created out of our mind that didn't exist before. The most powerful way to protect it in the world is not a patent. The most powerful form of protecting your intellectual property is a copyright. Okay? Copyrights protect the creator of their creation for as long as they're alive and 50 years after they pass on. This is the same strategy that Disney uses to protect their intellectual property. Everybody knows Mickey Mouse? Right? First time, Walt drew it on a piece of paper, and he copyrighted it. And they keep changing it, and they keep copyrighting it. Now, do you think anybody in the world is allowed to make a Mickey Mouse doll? No. Their lawyers are very, very vindictive. So what we've done is we've copywritten the design, the pattern of every patch, and we've protected it in 186 countries. So that means no one can make a patch that looks like ours, because if it doesn't look like ours, it's not going to work. That's the other great thing, because we actually don't divulge the exact mechanisms we've built into the patch in terms of how it is. All they see are the patterns of the ridges, right? So this is why we get this unbelievable this protection for our technology and our products. So somebody else can't say, well, this is just like super patch. Like, might be a patch, but it's not VTT. And it has to be that way because all of us are working so hard every day to build something for ourselves, our families, solutions that we're giving. So you need to have the comfort that your effort is not at risk, that the team that you're building is not at risk, that the business you're building is not at risk. It's not going to be a copycat, smarty patch that's going to come out and say, oh, I'm doing the same benefit the same way. It's not going to happen, right? So that's very important. And what that leads to is a situation we are in the enviable position of having no competition. We have a solution that's one of a kind in the world that delivers benefits that the way we deliver them, right? Now, here's the thing. People will say, we'll talk about this in a little bit. People will say, well, here's this other product and it does the same thing. There's some questions you have to ask. Is it validated? Is there research? Is it proven? Where's the clinicals? Where's the results? Because that's the level of proof that we need to deliver to make sure that our products are delivering on the value. So we end up, after 17 years and a ton of investment, with literally creating a category that's never existed before. It's complex, it's sophisticated, but it works, right? And some people have a hard time getting their head around, well, how does it work, Jay? How does it work? So I tested an analogy with some friends yesterday, and I'll share it with you guys now. Who here wears reading glasses? You like me? Okay. So when we put on reading glasses, do we actually fix our eyes? No. We don't fix our eyes, do we? I got mine here. I started hanging out with my friend Francesco. He's got the coolest reading glasses. I had to upgrade my stuff. Thanks, Francesco. So, reading glasses, where does the magic happen on the reading glasses? What do? Light comes through this side, and it gets transformed through the lens, and a different angle and different wave goes into the eyeball, right? Do we change the eyeball? No. Do we change the brain? We just change the signal going into our eyeball. You understand? Everybody tracking? So the patch is like the lens. We put the patch on our skin. What it does is it triggers the receptors inside our skin to send a clearer signal to our neurology. Is there any chemicals in this lens? Any batteries? Wow, but our eyesight changes. Are we hurting our brain? No, we're not hurting our brain, right? We're just sending a clearer signal to our optic nerves. The patch is helping send a clearer signal to our central nervous system. We understand? Okay. So that's one way to understand how. There's a lot of analogies we can use, right? So what does that mean in the big picture? That means we have something that's so advanced, it's magical. It's just like your cell phone. How many of you understand how your cell phone works? Come on, put your hand up. One guy, he's like, right? There's a bunch of math that happens. How many of you think your cell phone talks to satellites? Come on, hands up higher. Okay, newsflash, your cell phone doesn't talk to satellites. So when I'm calling my friend Christoph in Europe, the signal from my cell phone goes to the local cell tower, okay? Which then sends it to another signal processing place, then sends it somewhere else. And there's cables underneath the ocean that carry the signal to Europe. Yeah. Didn't know that, did you? Fun facts for Saturday afternoon. So a lot of the things that we take for granted, like, remember we were kids and you'd watch Star Trek? The only thing missing is that warp speed spaceship. We've got everything else. It's crazy. But if somebody showed you a cell phone in 1975, you'd think it was magic, right? So that's the first thing. Anything that's going to change the world disruptive, it has to be magical. The second thing, and I believe in this so much, by Eric Schremer, CEO and chairman of Google, he says, listen, if you're going to bring something new to the world, it's got to be at least 10x more than anything else that ever existed. Otherwise, you're still not there. You're still a Me Too product. And I'll give you, ladies, what we've developed is not just 10x. It's 1,000 times more advanced than anything else in the world. That's the advantage we have, and that's what we're dealing with, and that's what we get to represent, and that's what we get to work with to change the world. Right? So here it is. This is what we did. We made these things called Super Patch. What are they? 13 revolutionary products that are changing health, wellness, and performance. 100% drug-free. Tested benefits, millions of customers, clinical studies, made in the United States, 30-day money, all these things that people want to take and demand of the products they're going to use. Okay? This is not by accident. This is designed. We knew these were the things that needed to happen for this thing, this advanced technology, to have a chance. So now let me put it the other way. Imagine if it wasn't 100% drug-free. Would it be the same product? No. What if we didn't have incredible clinical studies? Would it be the same product? If it wasn't registered with Health Canada, and if it wasn't registered with the FDA, would it be the same product? No. Those differentiators are what separate us and make sure that we don't have any competition. Those are the intricate and invaluable parts of what we're building that separate us from everything else in the world, right? And let's go through these amazing things. So we have this Freedom Patch. Another study just came out, it's published in Springer. We looked at back pain, an RCT study, double-blind, randomized control study. We see mobility improvements in range of motion and back pain, and we see a statistically significant reduction in perceived pain. Why is it perceived pain? Because pain is subjective. How many of you have a high threshold of pain? Yeah. You feel pain differently than the rest of us. Right? And so you have to ask them, but there's these clinical scales that you use to get the feedback so they get out of bias, but you have to do randomized control and you have to do placebo control. And you have to hit statistical significance and you have to hit clinical significance. What does clinical significance mean? That somebody actually is feeling the difference. Is actually making a clinical benefit to them, not just numbers on a spreadsheet or numbers on a report. Right? So that's going to go, it'll come out in the email soon. I shared it with the leadership group last night. We have an energy patch. So imagine this, more energy every day without sugar, without caffeine. No jitters, no crashes. We have a patch that helps with mobility, a 30% improvement in balance. We have a REM patch that helps, again, RCT study, improve sleep. People falling asleep faster, sleeping longer, without grogginess, without melatonin, without a sleeping aid. And why are these things important? Because these are the reasons people visit their doctors, right? A study done last year showed that 85% of the people in North America at the doctor's office, 85% are there of one of three reasons or a combination. Some kind of aches or pain, poor sleep, low energy. Anybody go to the doctor for aches and pains? Yeah. We've all done it. Not anymore, right? Defend. We can help trigger a more responsive immune system, support it. We have a focus patch. How many of us got kids or grandkids that are always on their phone? Right? They don't even hear us when we're speaking to them. Right? You tell them to put it away, like, soon. I'll put it away soon. One more game. Ever hear that? One more game. The reality is their attention network's been hijacked by the algorithms in the social media platforms and the video games that they play. They're very addictive. Right? There's gamification inside the video game. They're triggering reward systems that lock them in to not wanting to leave, right? And so what happens is they lose their ability to focus on the tasks they got to get done. So the same kids that won't do their homework can play a game for 6 hours. Think about that. Right? So it's not an attention issue. You just focus on the wrong thing. Right? So we can help with that. We can help people burn more calories at rest. So RMR is a resting metabolic rate. That's how many calories we're burning sitting right here. When you laugh, you're burning a little bit more. So laughter is clapping is really good. I would encourage that, right? But when we're sleeping, we're sitting at our desk, when we're Netflixing, whatever we're doing, that's the majority of our day. So we can help optimize that respiratory effect. Our joy patch, we can show in clinical settings, networks that manage mood come back to homeostasis, which is fantastic. It's like sunshine and a hug and a patch. We have a kick it patch to help people reinforce positive behavior and beat bad habits. We have a Lumi patch. So check this out. The webpage is probably going to go up next week sometime. So we worked with this group that does all of the before and after studies for the biggest makeup groups, the L'Oreals, the Revlons of the world, okay? And so we got 25, 30 people, women, ladies, young women, not guys, sorry dudes, to try the product over a month, right? Because we really want to see that before and after. Wait till you see these images. The elasticity, the clearance on their skin, the radiance, it's unbelievable. So we're giving a whole new dimension to clean beauty, right? Literally, beauty starts on the inside out, right? Makeup's great, but what if we could improve the base that the makeup gets applied to, right? Without side effects, without risk, without drugs, with all those amazing things, right? So that's what's coming out there. And the rocket patch, it says more like never before. I made it for Nick. I'm just kidding, Nick. Thanks, sir. Thank you. But of course, stop. Too much info, bro. I asked for it. So as we get older, and guess what? We found out, so trial and error, some amazing leaders and amazing people in the field, the ladies tried it and they loved it too. So we want to bring the spark back, give it a shot. So guys over 50, 3 weeks, between 40 and 50, 2 weeks, guys under 40, 1 week, and ladies, I think it starts to kick in about a week. It really works well. What can I say? What can I say? Give it a try. There you go. Let's call her right now. And the Victory Patch for Athletic Performance, we just we just actually is publishing next week, University of Arizona with their D1 athletes. This study is unbelievable. We see a 10% improvement in lower body power with D1 athletes. Statistically significant against an RCT study, against a placebo. And what we saw was we didn't even expect to see, but in hindsight, not surprised, is that we all have a dominant side and a weak side. Wearing the patch over the 2 weeks, what the data showed is the weak side was becoming as powerful as the dominant side. What this means in athletics is game-changing. It's injury prevention, it's performance, it's recovery, it's all these things that come out of it, because now guess what? The body isn't compensating one side to another side. What this means for athletics is game-changing. Right? So these are the pieces we have, and guess what, gang? We have this amazing technology that's all built on called VTT. VTT is so far ahead of anything in the world. I'd bet anybody that we're at least 50 years ahead of anything in science, anything in health, anything in wellness. A true revolution in drug-free health and wellness. Nothing comparable. So when people say, well, what is it like? It's one of one. And the foundation, the platform we built it on is called VTT, vibrotactile transduction. What does that mean? We put ridges on our skin that work with ion channels, free nerve endings, receptors in a collaborative way to send a signal that our mind understands, right? And it's taken a while. It's taken 17 years and a lot of money. And I'll tell you why it's taken 17 years and a lot of money. Because when I proposed my ideas to leading academic institutions, thought leaders, they said to me to stick to software. Jay, it doesn't work that way. You're a really smart software engineer, but the mind and body isn't software. And I said, great. Tell me what it is. Tell me, how does the mind control the body? Because that's the question I've been asking for my mom for the better part of 25 years at that point in 2008. We all agree that our mind regulates our body? We all take it for granted, right? We all take for granted the mind-body connection. So that I'm saying, quantify it. Because I believe this, remember I told you, recovering engineer, you cannot improve anything until you can measure it. And to measure it, you have to quantify it. So quantify for me, in my mom's case, quantify for me the signal that's going from here to her body that's not going through. And so what we spent the last 17 years is isolating, identifying, and quantifying the generation of that signal here in our brain waves, and understanding how it communicates to the rest of our body and the different autonomic systems. The reason it took so long is no one believed me that I could do it. The reason it cost so much money is no one would invest in that idea. Right? No, you're very welcome. Because I learned a long time ago. If you're gonna listen, I appreciate that, but this is what I learned a long time ago. If you're gonna bet, if you won't bet on yourself, don't ask anybody else to. Right? Granddad used to say, if you're gonna learn to count to one on yourself. You got to start there. Because I think to myself now rationally, if somebody comes to me and says, well, you know what, we're going to make this thing, it's never been done before, and I'm not actually a neuroscientist, and I don't know anything about it, but I think I can figure this out. I probably also said, yeah, right. No chance. But every little breakthrough, every little advancement over 17 years led to today. So there was no one eureka moment. This was 17 years of incremental improvement, incremental understanding, incremental proof. And then once we had it, then we had to prove it. That's why we keep investing in studies. That's why we keep investing in R&D, trying to understand what else is possible. Because without that mindset, we stop, right? And we don't want to stop, right? Because we know that every fully function has a neural program. I mean, this is proven over and over and over and over again. Everything that's happening in our body, from our sight to our breathing to our posture, everything has a neural program that's running it, regulating it. But if those programs get damaged or stuck, then the body follows, right? It's not a hard concept to understand. And so what does VTT do? The ridges on those patches, they're like the lens of the reading glass that improves our sight. They're like Braille. Think about what Braille is. Somebody figured it out 200 years ago. You run your fingers on some little dots, texture, right? And it becomes a neural program in our mind. There's no typewriter. We understand there's no typewriter in our brain, right? We understand that? So when we touch that Braille, there's an electrical stimulation that's created by these receptors and our free nerve endings and ion channels that's sending that signal, that's recognizing that as a letter. And we run it over some letter, some dots, it becomes a word. And it becomes a sentence. And it becomes a whole page in a story in a novel. All of a sudden we're doing this. How fast does it work? It's like that. So that was what was renting space in my head when I'm thinking about how do I get information to create these broken programs? Because a wave only responds to a wave. We understand this, guys? So brain waves are not going to respond to chemicals. They're going to respond to electrical impulse, and they're going to respond to another wave. Okay? Physics, chemistry. I'm partial to physics because it was easier for me. Organic chemistry, some doctors here who understand that organic chemistry is horrible, right? Organic chemistry is no fun. You got 1,000 rules and 1 million exceptions because everything changes, right? And so, but what's predictable is the physics. What's predictable is wave math. What's predictable are things like Fourier transforms. We can take a complex sine wave and turn it into frequencies and go backwards, right? So that's the math. But this is what VTT is built on. So if somebody says, oh, how does VTT work? What do? Send them a video. If they ask you, how does it work? I tell them it works great. Here's the video. Right? If they want to read the research, here you go. Here's the research. What does it say? I don't know. How many of you have read 100 research papers? Come on, hands up. At least 100. How many have read at least 1,000 research papers? Sil, come on, put your hand up. A couple thousand. Not to brag. I've read 50,000 research papers around haptics, around neurofunction, around EEG interpretation, around neurophysiology. I've read 400 textbooks. 17 years, I had time on my hands. Okay? And I did it to understand what I didn't know, because what they tell you is what they've already figured out. So that part's easy. The hard part for innovation is to say, what don't we know? Right? This is why I say always send a video. Right? 50,000 research papers is a little over 500,000 pages. Put things into perspective. Why? Because the best part, you know what the best part of a research paper is? It's not just the paper itself. It's all the references. Because that's what you got to read to make sense of what's written there. Because if you don't read the references, you miss the context. So that's how it started off with like 500 research papers. 500 became 50,000 because it just multiplies, because you got to know, you got to understand, you got to and a lot of it's elimination of things that work and don't work. So this is a very complex thing. And I don't expect anyone to figure it out or to know it or to be able to explain it. This is why we have videos. Right? So you want to be a product promoter and a product marketer. You don't want to be in science class. Remember when we were kids, we had show and tell? Do they still have that in school, show and tell? It's my favorite part of school, show and tell. Right? So you have a choice. You can do show and tell every day, or you go to physics and calculus. It's your choice. Which class do you want to be? Who wants to be in show and tell? Yeah, all right, good. Because physics and calculus, it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work. You can do it. I don't recommend it, right? So it's like Braille for the brain. It's like reading glasses for our neural programs. It just brings everything into focus, right? So why is it better than the things that we take for granted? Why is it better than energy drinks? Why is it better than sleep meds? Why is it better than pain pills? Why? Drug-free, no side effects, non-invasive, long-lasting benefits. Right? People say, well, you know, the pain patch, Jay, so do I have to keep taking the pain patch? I go, how long do you take your Tylenol? Like, if you've got a boo-boo, I had somebody call me, well, my arm's still broken. I'm like, get a cast. You need to get a cast. No, but I hear these things and I'm just like, okay. You know, I go, what are you taking for your broken arm now? Oh, I'm on Tylenol. I said, good. Is the patch helping? Yeah, but my arm's still broken. I gave up. Can't help the broken. You understand? This is the difference, right? We don't cure or treat any disease. I want to be very clear on that. We do not cure or treat any disease. We are helping with general health and wellness problems that the world is dealing with. What? Aches and pains, poor sleep, stress, mobility. Is poor mobility a disease? No, but it's the most reliable biomarker for longevity. What do I mean? Balanced stability is the most reliable biomarker in adults for longevity. Global studies done on this. The better our balance stability as an adult, statistically, we're going to live longer. The poorer our balance is, not so good. That's why we do the balance test. I know it's a great party trick, but there's a reason for it, right? Who wants to live longer and healthier? Yeah, you should all be doing balance tests, right? That's how it's got to start, right? So we back it up with science. We've now published 12. There's another 3 coming this year. We just finished another study with NHS out of the UK and Cambridge University. And we looked at the victory patch and VO2 max, meaning oxygen use and recovery in aerobic exercises. Inside, don't tell anybody. Double-blind controlled study, statistical significance, an 11% improvement in VO2 max with Olympic and collegiate athletes. That's crazy. It's crazy good. So what does that mean to an athlete? Any marathon runners here? Okay. What does 11% better VO2 max mean for you, young lady? You don't know? Okay. It means a lot. It means you get tired later. You get less lactic. There's a bunch of things that are happening in how you're using your oxygen and with the capacity of your body to exert energy as for how long. So a little geeky, but it's really cool stuff. But the thing is, we talk about cell signaling and body signaling. This is not new, right? This is not new. The fact that your cells transmit a signal, this is not new. Really smart guys at Columbia University, Dr. Rabi, Dr. Cush, and Dr. Millman figured this out in 1939. They were the pioneers of the MRI. 1939. Anybody know what an MRI does? Who's had an MRI? You got in that thing and you didn't even know what it did? Right? You didn't even know what it did. Okay. You should read it. You should read up on that. So an MRI has this powerful magnet. Really like super strong magnet. That's why you can't have implants and all this stuff. Otherwise, it's going to come out of your body. It's going to be like a bullet. Okay? It's really dangerous. And that magnet actually corrects the degree of the protons and the neutrons in your body. And when they turn the magnet off, that change in, for better words, direction emits a radio signal. And the machine reads that signal and they convert that into an image. The dudes that figured that out won a Nobel Prize in 1945. Literally the smartest guys in the room. And they figured out cell signaling 6 years before that. So when you say to people, what's the signals? They tell you no, tell them read a book. This has been around a long time. So around the time that I started doing research, this guy, Dr. Papatupi, and his partner, Dr. Julius, at Stanford, so they published their first paper on piezo 2 transducers in 2010. I started my research in 2008. So talk about serendipity, timing, whatever it is, and they finally discovered for the first time, because we always knew that you touched our skin, you felt it, you could do whatever you wanted, you could sense it, right? But they were the ones that actually identified the ion channels in our body that were actually generating that nervous signal. Kind of important, right? So call it timing, call it whatever you want. So, like, I'm their biggest fan. And by the way, they won the Nobel Prize in 2021 for finding those things. So if somebody says to you, well, it doesn't work that way, say, actually, it kind of does work that way. It's exactly how it works. It's exactly how it works. So there's a theory called the pattern theory of haptic perception. You can look it up when you want. And what it proposes is that our free nerve endings, our ion channels, our receptors in our skin can collaboratively send very complex signals to our central nervous system where that information is decoded, interpreted, and output sent back. Not my theory. Somebody else gave a name to it. We've been leveraging that theory to develop VTT for 17 years, right? And so who do we have helping us? We have people like Dr. Saker at the University of Arizona, Dr. Toker. She's actually working on a fall risk study in hospital settings right now. Dr. Mark Boff, who works with athletes and celebrities. And Dr. Alex Schaus, he is one of the most senior scientific and regulatory consultants in the world specializing in nutrition, health, and wellness products. And every single one of these esteemed doctors is working on research with us right now. So these are not just empty placards on a screen. These are people invested into finding ways to help people using our technology and finding better research for it, right? And there's real people and real success stories. So we have some really famous people. Like, who listened to the Jay Glazer speech the other day? It's pretty good, right? We have one of the premier track coaches in the world, Shea Pierre. We have Dr. Brian, who is a chiropractor to almost everybody in Hollywood. So half of Hollywood's using our patches. We got to get some paparazzi out there taking pictures, right? So I talked about a little bit, how did it all start? It started in '83, because that's when my story started as it relates to health and wellness. I started research in 2008, started my parent company in 2010. The first product I actually made was a pair of socks. Who's got my socks? We have a cult following on our socks. Best socks ever made. Still. And then I started the research on the patches in 2018. We launched in 2023. Unbelievable success out of the gate. 2024, even more success than this year. Limitless success. All because why? Of the teamwork and the work that we're doing together and we're growing together, right? So these are big numbers. We're a 17-year-old startup. Right? The product is right for every person, every family in the world. It's my purpose to get it there. So you know when you have a hill in your life that you're going to climb, that's the hill you're going to die on? This is the hill for me. And I'm planning succession. My son's in the back. Galen, you want to stand up? So he looks at his brains from his mom. Thank God. So he's actually designing the next two patches. Because this can't end with me. That would suck so bad. Right? We start this amazing thing. I don't tell anybody how it's done, how it's made. No one knows. I fall off here. Eric doesn't save me. It's over. Done. So we want to avoid that, right? So the success has been unbelievable, and we're like everywhere. We're in North America. We're in the UK. We're in Europe. We just opened up Mexico. We're working on Colombia. We work Turkey. Like, we're going everywhere. Why? People need what we have. So it's very exciting, right? And the core of it is tapping into that $500 billion market. And why? And say, Jay, why are you putting numbers to that? I'm putting numbers is for you to understand the economic opportunity you have in front of you. Because what we're building, and what every one of you is building, I don't know if you know this, is you're building a distribution channel. You're building a distribution business. Whether you distribute phones, then that. Whether you distribute potato chips, whether you distribute socks, whether you distribute auto parts, whether you distribute guitars, it doesn't matter. Our job is to market and distribute our amazing products and technology, right? That's the role of the field, of the general sales field that we have. Take this amazing product, this amazing story, these amazing benefits, and share it with the world. It's show and tell. It's show and tell. Do the balance stability test, let them know why it's important for them, why better balance is important to them, and get them trying the product. And then their life changes. And then they're thanking you. You know, you were thanking me for all these amazing things that have happened for you. Trust me, people are thanking you too for making that happen for them. How many of you get messages and emails from your friends saying, you know what, this thing is amazing, it's changed my life? Yeah, amazing, congratulations. So this isn't a Jay story. This isn't a story about me, oh, how great I am. No. This is an us story. This is a we story. Because I can't do this by myself. Because if I stood at the corner of Yonge and Dundas at Dundas Square and I started handing out patches, right? If I said, I need a patch for you, is it like Oprah? Patch for you, is a patch for you, and a patch for you. If I handed out a pack of patches to a person a second, it would take me 11 days to hand out 1 million. It would take me 33 years to hand out 1 billion. So I can't do it myself. People say to me, what are you network marketing? That's the reason it's network marketing. I can't hand out 1 billion. Even if I gave it away free, I don't have enough days left. None of us do. So we got to do it together. So instead of any one of us handing out 1 billion, we just got to get to 100 first, then 1,000, then 2,000, then 3,000. And how does it happen? It happens by doing little things every day. Consistency of behavior, consistency of action. How many here have done the balance test on 5 people? Ooh, how many of you have never done a balance test on anybody? Okay, we got work to do. Hands higher. Higher. Eric, stand up. Look. These are the, come find Eric during the break or afterwards because you need to experience this, okay? It's very, see how that works, Eric? It's very important, right? And so where is this 500 billion? Where are these, where's this coming from, Jay? It's coming from the number of people we can help. 6 billion people that want better sleep. 2 billion people that want more energy. 2 billion people that want clean beauty. 3 billion people looking for some cognitive improvement. 2 billion people looking for better mobility, calorie control, stress relief, aches and pains, mood help, immune support, and better fitness. This is us, and this is everyone we know. Who here knows somebody that needs something on this list? I don't see. Okay, who doesn't know someone that needs something on this list? I want to see that list. I want to see those people. Because some people, not everybody put up their hand, so I'm curious. This is why this is so powerful. This is why, because this is everyone. Right? I wear 4 patches a day. 4 a day. Which ones? Liberty, defend, peace, and I'll flip it out with defend or joy. Depends on the meetings of the day. right? Because why? Because they support my lifestyle. How many of you wear more than one patch a day? Look around. Okay, now I got to ask you a question. Do you think everybody you know is any different once they realize the benefits that can be had? No. No, not at all. It's the first thing that I said. So who do you have to convince? Yourself. You got to believe. You got to believe. Like, I believe it. I use it. These are the changes in my life, and that's what you got to share. You don't need to know any science. All you got to know is what it's done for you and your family. That's all you got to know. Right? And why is it right for this channel we've chosen? Because all network marketing is a channel of sales. Right? E-commerce is a channel of sales. Direct to consumer is a channel of sales. Wholesaling is a channel of sales. This is just a channel of sales. Okay? Why? Because it's an exclusive product with an instantly demonstratable benefit, right? Residual income, built-in viral growth, low-cost entry, and a personal development culture of what we're doing here today, right? And some people get stuck on this whole network marketing thing. So let me just, can I just be a truth teller for today? There is no industry in the world where something is sold by salespeople and more than one person is not getting paid. Are we clear? So when anybody here buy a house or sell a house, who sold a house in the past or property? Right? Real estate agent got paid on both sides. 2 brokerages got paid. Right? Then the person that owns Remax, whoever that is, they got paid. MLS.com got paid. A lot of people got paid. Anybody have insurance? How many people think got paid on insurance? When you buy a car, you think just a sales rep got paid? You think that beautiful dealership didn't make any, like you think only one person got paid? No. The reason network marketing gets stained is because of low integrity people doing low integrity things. The way you change it is only work with high integrity people doing high integrity things. It's not hard. So what does that mean? Work with high quality people. It's not complicated. Birds of a feather flock together. And one rotten apple will spoil the whole damn bunch. We know this, right? So you got to have the courage to say, I only work with high quality people. And what do you want? You want integrity, you want intelligence, and you want energy. That's all you want. The rest we can figure out. Right, Marco? It's not complicated. It's not complicated, right? So what separates us from everything else? There's some amazing advantages we have. So we have globally protected IP. We have solutions for a mass market. We have products that work. We can demonstrate them instantly. No change required. So guess what? You don't have to change your diet or your lifestyle to take the benefit of our products. I think that's pretty powerful. And we priced it right for consumers. You guys ever see something that seems so amazing you want to get it for yourself or your family, but you just can't afford it? See it all the time. So when we want to market something, we get it to the world, the price has to be right for who? The world. Right? We could have a whole different business if we price this thing at $500 a month. Because there's people out there in the world that will only buy things that are expensive and no one else can have. You know that's a real thing, right? If you and I can buy it, they're not going to buy it. I know some of those people. But they can always buy anything anyways. I'm talking about us. I'm talking about our families. I'm talking about our friends. I'm talking about our neighbors. I'm talking about the people and places we live. Because that's the rest of the world. I'm not here to help the 1%. They don't need my help. If there's 1%ers here, I'm sorry. No offense. But the purpose is for the 99%. It's for the rest of us. Right? It has to be. How else are we going to make that change? Right? So no change required, pricing, regulatory compliance. These are all the things that separate us from other network marketing opportunities. How many of you have been in another opportunity before? So let me say this. See these 8 things I've just mentioned? If you wrote these on a list and put a check mark beside what we have, I'll bet you, because this is what I do full time, there isn't another product, another opportunity, another business that has all 8 check marks. Not one. Not one. This is why I say there's no competition. There isn't another one. So if you're going to go out there to market something, you got to know these things. You got to know what separates what you're marketing, what you're representing as compared to the market, right? That's what makes this so special and so powerful. Right, so what do these market advantages matter? Because there's too much hype out there. People talking fast, price fast. Somebody's talking blockchain, somebody's talking to you about crypto, somebody's talking to you about some peptide, somebody's talking to you about thing, da, da, da. They're marketing things that they don't even make and they don't own. Who owns the blockchain? Who owns the blockchain? It's great tech, but who owns it? See? If you don't know who owns it, then you don't know who controls it. And I'm not saying anything negative about crypto, but you have to just take a look at what it is. So Bitcoin's at what, 100,000? Some crazy number? It's a big number, right? I'm just saying this to give you perspective. There's 6 people, 6 organizations, 6 companies in the world that control the bulk of the Bitcoin supply in the world. So guess who's in charge? Those 6 people. Not me, not you. It's the people that own $500 billion worth of, whatever that number is, that's who's in charge. If you owned all the oranges in Ontario, you'd control the price of oranges and who got them, right? That's what happens when we're not aware of how technology actually works. Supply and demand is so important. So guess what? We own our tech. We own our product. It isn't white labeled. It isn't shared with anybody else. So guess what? We control our destiny. We control our pricing. We control how we sell it. We control who we sell it to. We control who buys it. We control who represents it. Why? To protect this thing as a generational enterprise, right? And there's way too many scams all over the place. We have grandparent scams where people are calling our grandparents and getting money out of them. We have mortgage fraud. We have so many things online happening that aren't truthful. So you got to have the discernment to say, is this real or is this fake? Too many Me Too products, too many MLMs. That sounds hypocritical, right? But it's fact. Too many Me Too products. And inflation is there. So why? Why is economics important? Economics is important because the cost of living is through the roof. Listen, I grew up in the Triangle Junction. Every Saturday, we'd go to Knobbill Farms. Anybody ever used to shop at Knobbill Farms? Remember? Back in the day. They had those big boxes you'd fill up, right? I remember grocery bill like for a family of 4 was like $45. That's what it cost. Not anymore. So inflation it's there. Cost of living is out of hand, right? And the issues in the economy are systemic, meaning they're not going to get solved overnight. And everybody needs extra income today and in the long run. This is just the economics of reality of why we're here and what we're trying to do and what we owe to ourselves and our families, right? Because this is the sad part. In North America, the richest countries in the world, 66% of people don't have an emergency fund of $500. Does that make sense? It's fact. Right? So what are the options? What are people doing now to make ends meet when the money runs out on the 28th and there's still 2 days left in the month? Right? This thing called a gig economy. Anybody heard of the gig economy? Uber Eats, driving Uber, DoorDash, out there, right? And it gives you the opportunity to make some extra money and quick money really fast, but that's it, because what's happened? In 2025 and 2024, the world decided that we're going to take a massive leap backwards and start trading time for money again. That's where progress had led us. That the only way we could make extra money was jumping in our vehicle and drive for a few hours to make a few bucks. Does that sound like progress? No. Doesn't sound like progress to me, because you're not building anything. You're trading time for money. Anybody doing a gig economy spending 4 or 5 hours, they're not building a damn thing. Because the minute they stop driving, what happens? Money stops. So the work, if I'm doing Uber and I drove yesterday and I made $200-300, if I don't go to work today or I don't drive today, am I going to get another $200-300? No. And we've been convinced, societally convinced, that the gig economy is the future. The gig economy is a massive step backwards. A massive step backwards. But they have no options, right? What are the options? So you can work with Super Patch or do something to build something for yourself, unlimited potential. And it's beyond time. Something that you do today, build today, you get customer base today, you get distribution partners today, you're going to get rewarded today and tomorrow. And if you keep working with them, you get paid the month after and the month after and the month after. That's why I call this a distribution business. This is a cooperative distribution business. We're all working together to distribute an amazing product that brings benefits to the world. So these benefits are here today. They're available tomorrow. They're available for as long as we're in business, right? And the beautiful thing is, if you build it and you grow it, you can actually leave it to somebody. There's multi-generational businesses all over the place. Suppose it wasn't Super Patch. Suppose you were selling car parts. And you had customers and you had distributors that worked with you and they bought your products, right? And you wanted to retire. Are those customers and distributors going anywhere? No. If your children were so inclined, you could train them to take over your business. Why? Because you're distributing a real product that has real value. The purpose of any business, ladies and gentlemen, is to deliver value. If you have a product or a service, it has to deliver value. And the value the customer is getting has to be more than they paid. That's why the price point is so important. We can't have a high price, low value conversation. Imagine this. Yeah, this is overpriced and overpriced, so let's get two of them. That never happens. The price and value has to make sense. But these are conversations we have to be comfortable having, right? So how do you work with us? You can be just a product user. These are our customers. They're amazing. We can be product promoters. We have some amazing people that work with us. All they do is just advertise on social media. They make content, they post, they do really well for themselves. Or you can build a team and really ratchet it up. It's completely in your hands. You get to decide and choose how you want to participate. One way is not better than another way, because whatever it's got to be right for you. Right? It's got to be right for your lifestyle. It's got to be right for your needs. It's got to be right for your desires. It's got to be right for your dreams. So no one gets to tell you, well, don't do it this way or do it that way. I'm like, do what you want. Whatever your end goal is, align with that and do that. Right? So how do you participate? You join. We got a real simple program. We got the best product in the world. We got technology leadership. And our compensation and our economic model is so simple and transparent that it's real easy to understand and really easy to share. Right? So most people that join us, they get a whole plan with our team. 60 days, how you get started, how you recommend the product, what you got to learn, what you don't have to learn, how you do it, how you do the demo, all of it. We have an interactive app that makes marketing easier. We have some fun stuff. We do things like trips and getaways and contests. Sometimes I lose my mind and give away trips to Cancun. I don't know. We might do something crazy today. And the only reason we do that is because what we're doing has to be fun. Right? It's got to be fun. And we've got to do it together. Because who wants to go on an amazing journey? Like, who watched The Lord of the Rings? You guys watch the movie? Like, that movie would have totally sucked. It was just one little hobbit with a ring. Probably would have died halfway through the first movie. Right? None of us need to be Frodo. It's a fellowship. It's a friendship. It's a team. We do it together. We get there together, right? It's way more fun. Trust me, it's way more fun, right? It's way more fun, right? So why do you do it? We recommend everybody join with the Flex 40. It's a small investment of $12.99. You get your money back plus right away. 3 little things you got to do. You make back $1,600. So you got the product in your back pocket. You got money in your jeans. And guess what? $1,500 is nothing to sneeze at. That's where I live. That's the real world that I'm talking about, right? So if you're a guest, talk to whoever brought you. Ask him about this thing. Get on board. Get started. What time is it? It's 2:30. Eric, we're late. Listen, let's break for half an hour. Go stretch your legs out. We're going to get started on the dot at 3 o'clock. We'll start with the rest of the afternoon. Thank you so much for coming, everyone. My name is Jay Dhaliwal. I'm your host today.